This is Kevin Pruitt with another episode of Rising Tide Startups, and my special guest today is Marta Moya. Marta, thank you for joining us on Rising Tide.
You're very welcome. Thanks to you for inviting me.
Thanks for once again, we have another guest that is virtually on the other side of the planet here. She's joining us live from Paphos, Cyprus. Marta, share with Rising Tide a little bit about yourself.
So in case you haven't noticed, I am Spanish, but I Spanish.
It speaks very great English. We've already
Yeah.
chatted. Yeah.
I believe I still have like a strong accent. But yeah, hopefully you will understand me okay.
No worries.
And so I left Spain 7 years ago now, and when I left Spain, I kind of like had no idea what I was doing, but I just knew that I actually had to learn how to speak English. And from there, it has just been like traveling around. I lived 3 years in Ireland. Then I went to Thailand, and I was living there for 2 years. And from there, I've been kind of like living 3 months in different places. I stayed a little bit in Asia, then I came to Europe. I was in Canada as well. And yeah, I've been now living in Cyprus for 4 months. So that's what I do. And I actually did study psychology. I have like a master's degree. But have I ever used it? Have I ever worked as a psychologist? No. So I don't know. That's just like one thing that you always go back and think, why did I spend like 7 years of my life, studying something that I have never used? But you learn.
Hey, you really don't. I mean, can you honestly say you've never used it? I mean, you have to deal with crazy people like me. I mean, you
Yes.
really have an understanding of who, even just everyday interactions. I would think that
Yeah.
you can recall something in those 7 years.
You are totally right. What I meant is just like, that title that even nowadays, many people, when they want to be a coach or they want to do something, they always think, oh, I need to actually study to get a title, a certification to actually do that. And it's just like, no, really? If you are good at what you are at, you don't need to spend like 7 years of your life to get a piece of paper.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
what I meant.
Absolutely. That's going to be good for our listeners to hear.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 100%. And especially again, nowadays, personal opinion, I think like the education is just like going down, and people are just like waking up, and whatever you are passionate about, whatever you are interested in, just go and learn about that and just become the best on that.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing I don't want to take too much of a chase a rabbit here, so to speak, but I mean, I'm seeing that all the time. This idea of kind of hacking your education together. Like what are specific skills that you need? What are you really interested in? And I mean, I'm seeing even major companies like Google and Warby Parker and you know um, Microsoft that are hiring people without degrees, but have special skill sets. So
Exactly.
yeah, it's interesting what you say. So. But last time I checked, the airlines actually require money to be able to travel and to go to places and live in places. So how, this nomadic lifestyle that you've created for yourself, how do you fund this?
Actually, that's interesting because I'm trying to think. There was only one time for me, and I think it was in Cambodia, that when I was applying for a visa there, they were asking me for like a bank certification,
Bank statement.
statement.
Yep.
But yeah, besides that, it is nothing like that. Like you don't really need to have like $10,000 in your bank account to travel. But of course, and especially nowadays with all the social media platforms like Instagram and so on, you really want to travel. And again, in my opinion, traveling is not just like going 5 days somewhere, visiting the touristic places and then going back home. It's just like, if you really want to experience the country and you want to spend like 2 weeks, let's say 2 weeks. It depends on the country, of course, but you don't normally need like a huge budget to do that.
But you generate funding, or you generate money somehow. So you and I are stepping onto a lift. We're stepping onto an elevator and we're going up 10 floors. Give me your elevator pitch. What is your job? What is your business?
My current business.
Yeah, it's hey, this is your show.
um, yeah. So
Current,
right
future,
now,
past. You talk about whatever you want to.
no, yeah, I was just asking you because I actually started to be a proper digital nomad like 3 years ago now when I was living in Thailand. I was living specific in Chiang Mai, which is one of the main digital nomad
Yeah.
communities, you know. And of course, when I went there, I had my office, my 9 to 5. Well, actually, not even 9 to 5 because I was working at night in an office. And I just kept meeting people that were telling me that they just work with the laptop and Wi-Fi. And I was like, no way. Like, how can you do that? Like, I've never been told that. I've never known about that. And that's how I actually learned about this amazing lifestyle that you can have where you can actually work online and you can travel at the same time. So 3 years ago, when I quit my job, I actually started a travel agency in Thailand. And I was running it for like a year and a half, 2 years.
Hmm.
But then I was just like feeling that I wasn't really fulfilled with what I was offering because I always want to provide like a personalized experience in anything that I do. Like if you were in one of the places that I go, kind of like if you ask in the online community, everyone knows me because I'm always like trying to meet up with everyone and do trips and organize trips and all of that. So so what I realized is that just like offering trips online wasn't really fulfilling for me. And that's when I started to look into online coaching. And after like a month probably of research, I hired my first mentor. And that's when I started to work. I became at that time like an Instagram mentor. So I was
Hmm.
coaching people, I was mentoring people how to make money with Instagram, just using Instagram.
Right.
Um, and that was amazing because that was like the beginning for me. But then again, I just felt, what else? What else can I learn? You know, it's like, it's all about growth, right? So it's just like, what else can I offer? How can I provide like a better service for my clients, you know? And that's when I kind of like stepped into business coaching. And that's what I've been doing now for the last year, more or less, a year and a half. So basically, I just combined everything that I learned about like affiliate marketing and online coaching and business, you know, on social media and how to use Instagram and Facebook. And the funny thing is that you can actually travel for free, you know, with Instagram, just having like a free Instagram account. And when I discovered that, I was like, no way someone wants to work with me. You know, when I had like, I don't know, 2,000 followers on Instagram. But it's just like when you offer something else, when you go like the extra mile. And for example, I started to work with hotels, and it wasn't just, okay, yeah, let me stay for free in your amazing hotel and I will just share my stories or a post, you know, my Instagram. I went ahead and offer like an Instagram training for them so they can have more clients, right?
Wow, what a great
So
idea.
exactly, it's just like, and again, nowadays, like the market is saturated, like it's
Hmm.
oversaturated with like coaches and Instagram and influencers and all of that. So it's like, what can you really offer? You know, what would they want to work with you and you and not someone else? So just like always think about something extra that you can provide for them.
Man, what a great point, and I'm still kind of stuck on the fact that you said you can't speak English very well, and you just used the word saturated in a sentence. So, yeah, I'm jealous. There's no way I'm going to flip and in in any way use a word that complex in Spanish. So, yeah, you
I guess
win.
I just keep hearing that word over and over again.
You win. That's what a great word. Yeah, and
Yeah.
perfectly in context. So, yeah, you certainly understand our language. So I mean, I love the idea that I mean, 3 years ago, this was almost like a foreign concept to you. You know, it's like
Oh
a
yeah.
like, can this even, is this even possible? And then, you've made such a dramatic change in 3 years and learned so much. And I mean, obviously you're a student, you want to learn and you desire to learn. You have a drive to, a real passion to learn. So tell me kind of walk us through the process. I mean, you just popped up a Facebook page and said, "Oh, by the way, and now I'm now an Instagram coach," and or did you kind of leverage your travel
No.
agency into this, or just walk us through that.
Yeah, no. So I'm always, like, I would say I'm very organized person. And the thing nowadays is that we have all the information available for us. Like, if you go to YouTube, Google, anything that you want to know, it's there. But then when I started to search, okay, how can I provide coaching online, or how can I become a coach, a mentor, something like that? Then I was like, it is just like overwhelming, the amount of information that you can find. That for me, the only way of doing it was to hire a mentor. And it is quite funny because I actually was following this guy for like 3-4 months, that he was kind of like showing how to travel and make money at the same time, and travel for free with the Instagram account and so on. And
Hmm.
I was like, that's like not true, like he's faking it and so on. But then again, everything just came together the day that a friend of mine that I met in Chiang Mai, she told me that she joined his course, and she was like, oh yeah, this is legit, like this is all great, you should join it. So that was basically the beginning for me on the online mentoring.
Hmm.
um, and I would say that I wouldn't have done it without him, because again, you always need like a process. Like, you need to know what you have to do first, because of course, if I by the way, when I started this thing, I never used Instagram in my life before, so it was all new for me. And we were doing like group coaching. And I remember I was asking like, what is a DM, and everyone was like, right.
And you're an Instagram coach.
Right. And I was like, I know, I will learn. um but that's the thing, like, when you for me, what I really wanted to mix together
Hmm.
was like my passion for like people and meeting people and helping people. When it actually comes from the psychology background, with like traveling, you know. I want to see all the world. I want to live in different countries. I don't want to be like, yeah, I spent 2 days here, so I'm gonna add that country to my list. Like, no, not really, So I was like, how can I combine both of those? And that's when I came to the idea that I could do that by hiring a mentor that was going to teach me about Instagram. Um, so yeah, it's basically, I don't know, when you start, it's like everything is kind of like black, and you don't have like a strategy behind, or you don't know what to follow and so on. Just search for someone who has already done it, who can show you like the steps. And
Right.
it is for me right now just like the only option that I would consider. And even now, so I hired that mentor for Instagram, then I hired like a business coach, then I hired another business coach, then I hired like a marketing coach. So it's just like, whatever you are passionate about and whatever you want to offer, cool. If you want to go to YouTube and Google and so on, there is like plenty of information there that we can learn for free. But in my opinion, it's always better to just follow someone, that is
Right.
gonna get you results quickly as well.
Right. So
Because
how
again,
do you, sorry, go ahead.
no, no, go for it.
I was just going to ask you. So, I mean, so many of our listeners are going to be faced with kind of the decision of hiring coaches, and there are so many out there that call themselves coach. That maybe like you were. I'm an Instagram coach, but I've never used Instagram. Or I'm a business coach, but I've never successfully launched a business. Type thing.
Yeah.
So, how do you kind of weed through that, or and how do you decide which coach to choose?
So I would say the first thing when you are really looking for a coach and not like an online course or something like that, that you would just watch the videos and so on, I would say you really have to connect with that person.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning, I will always jump on a call with them to see, how they are. And even though, on a call, of course, like someone can be like super excited and then things like that, but just follow them for a while, because someone can fake it in the call or can fake it at the beginning and so on. But just follow them and see if what they are actually um,
Yeah,
preaching.
yeah. What they're producing, and make sure that
Yeah, it
their
is actually
actions
true.
match their words exactly. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
because
perfect.
that's the thing. Like when I started, I didn't say, "Oh, I am an Instagram coach and I'm going to help you to gain like 10,000 followers and all that." I told everyone like, "Hey, I'm starting," and that's when the testimonials, by the way, come through as well. You
Mm-hmm.
always have to look for testimonials at the beginning. First of all, to see if you are a good coach in this case, and second, if you can actually produce results, for your clients. So again, when you start, that's why like this is a process. You can't just start and be like, sure, I want you to pay me whatever amount of money and I'm going to teach you how to do this. It's just like, no, you have to back it up with something. So I would always say testimonials, results that they had. And again, if I say just those two, and many people, if they are starting and they don't have anything, they are going to be like, oh, no one is going to hire me, and just like, no, that's not true. Like there is a whole process how to get you there, and how to,
Right.
yeah, maybe at the beginning, you would be offering the whatever you are doing for free, or in my case, I always offer something extra. um, but it's just like you have to build up that authority. And that's also why it has to be like super extremely important that whatever you do, you have to be passionate about. Because for example, some of my clients, I can think right about like right now about one guy. When he joined my program, he was like, I love going to the gym and I would love to become a personal trainer, but I really love your lifestyle, Marta, and I really want to travel. And then when he started his Instagram account, he was just kind of like pretending that he
Mm,
was traveling.
yeah.
So of course, after 2-3 weeks of posting, he was like, I'm running out of ideas. And I'm like, right, why do you think that is? Just like you're just trying to pretend, that you are doing something that you're not. And I guess that's the difference as well. Sorry, I'm jumping from one thing to
No,
another.
no, not at all. Not at all.
Okay. That's the difference between the people that want to make quick money, and they join and it's just like, yeah, I just want to make like $10,000 in the first month. It's just
Mm-hmm.
like, good luck,
Yeah.
go for it.
Don't we all? That's right.
But it's just like you have to build it up. And when you really want to do something online that you're really passionate about, it doesn't matter how long it takes, because you are going to enjoy it, right? And
Exactly.
whatever, again, when it comes to like content production, or content marketing, or just talking to prospects, if they really feel that you are not living and feeling what you are talking about, they will get that. And that's why many people don't get clients, because it's just like, it's the same if I'm saying, yeah, I'm going to show you how to travel the world with Instagram, and how to become like a location no, location independent,
Mm-hmm.
you know
Right.
and then I'm still in Spain living at my parents' house, you know so that's why I would say it's very easy to catch these people, who are like fake. And that's why I say, if you want to hire a coach, you have to follow them for a while to see, if they're really what they're saying they are.
Right. Right. If it's, whether it's genuine or it's a kind of virtual that they're,
Yeah,
world that they're living. So
yeah.
this is a great kind of segue to my next question, because I'm really curious, because I think you kind of touched on this a little bit, but what would you say is really like your why? What gets you out of bed in the morning? What really drives you?
I really want to help people to see that there is a different life. That, because I was in an office, and again, I did the life that I was told I had to. I had my studies, I had my boyfriend at that time. Thankfully, I didn't buy the house or didn't have kids. But, just like I've been there, I've been like working on an office where it was like, I don't know, like worthless, where I would just spend like probably 10 hours of my day doing something that I didn't enjoy. Probably just like hating my life, kind of saying like, I know I'm meant for something else, but I'm too afraid to try
Mm,
it.
yeah,
So
that's good.
I would just say like my why is, to me, there is no better feeling that when someone actually gets like results. And when they send me that message, Marta, I finally quit my job, and for example, one of my clients, he sent me a message. He bought like an RV,
Hmm.
like a camper van, and he had 4 jobs. He was working like 10, 12 hours every day, 7 days a week. And it was after like week 5 of my program that he was able to quit his job. So that feeling, when I get those kind of results and I'm able to help like one person, that's the best,
It's
you
worth
know?
it. Yeah. But
Yeah.
you said you can't promise $10,000 in the first month, but it sounds like to me that this guy wasn't far away from it after 5 weeks.
Oh yeah. He right now, like the last time that I talked to him, he was making like 1,500 per day. So
It's pretty amazing. Okay, so we need to hit the pause button on the recording right now, and I want you to show me exactly how I can make $1,500 a day. So
okay. But it's a secret.
we're going to shift to the gears here of the podcast interview. This is my privilege as the host. I can do this. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is also a really interesting part of our chat today is just the whole idea that let's say tomorrow everything stopped and you had
Mhm.
to restart and what walk us through kind of the steps of it's almost like a mini coaching session that you can give us here, but walk us through the process, what you would do personally. What business would you start, and what are kind of two or three foundational steps that you would really put in motion to really get started, and just speak in terms of, say, a listener that is really considering breaking out of the cubicle type
Yeah.
thing. So walk them through the process.
um so I would say the main thing, because again, many people get caught into these make quick money online things, that first of all they think that it's super easy, those kind of like marketers, that they are like, yeah, you can make $1,000 per day just by following these steps. It is not true. Like, I've tried, I've done it, I've fallen for it. It is just not true, and it will require work, and if not as much as they are probably working right now. I remember at the beginning I was working my 8 hours on my business, every day.
Hmm.
um, but the first thing that you need to find out is what you are really passionate about. Because if you just want to make money, then just get a job, right? But if
Right.
you really want to like build something online that is going to help you to have like a better life, and to actually feel like fulfilled, then you need to find out what you are passionate about. And once you have find that out, then you need to find, okay, what can you offer that is related to that, that there is actually a market for it. Because, I could be, I don't know, passionate about pens, but then I wouldn't know how to sell pens. So just like, you need to figure out if you can actually sell whatever you're selling. And how you can do that is just like search for other people who are doing it. If there is one person who has succeed, you can do it as well. And that comes also with like limiting beliefs, by the way, that we all have, kind of like, I can't do that, that is not going to work for me. um so yeah, I would actually say as well, again, I'm jumping from one thing to another, but I would say as well, break like those limiting beliefs that we all have, kind of like stop thinking that you can't do anything, because we are able to do anything we want to, as long as we want to put the time and effort into it. And yeah, once you find out, what you're passionate about, what is your niche or your ideal client, then it's just like follow like a process, and don't get too anxious to become like famous or like super successful in like 2 months, because it's just not going to happen. And by the way, the reason I'm saying this is because my first mentor, his program was like, yeah, you will join it and you will be making $1,000 per week by week 4. And it's just like, great. And again, I was doing the mentor with other people.
Mm-hmm.
The other people already had an Instagram account. Some of them had an e-commerce store. Another girl had already 7,000 followers on Instagram. And it just took me like 3 weeks to get my first sale. But when then I tried to apply that into my own clients, I could see that it was just not true. And what I was selling, it was just like, you really need to be like a hard working person to actually make that happen. So it's just like, just be real, be genuine, and don't try to make up things to sound cool or to attract people who is going to give you money. Because then if you can't actually give them the results they want,
Right.
then it's just not going to work. And that's why when I started to see that, then it was like, okay, so what am I missing? And then it was like, if I want someone to actually have a business online, then I have to learn about business, not just about Instagram. So then it's like, okay, you learn. And then I combine the information in my mentor program, and so on, right? With marketing, with how do you actually get clients, how to get the sales, so all of this is just like, it is a process. And again, another thing that I would say is just like, just work with someone. Like, it is cool if you want to be like, I want to do this on my own and I will get it and so on. Cool, but it might take you like 2 years, right? When you
Right.
actually work with someone who knows like the steps and who can guide you, it's just like much easier. And again, for me, it's just like much better to do that.
Right.
Um, and yeah, another thing that I would say is that if you are starting something, do not compare yourself to someone who is already like successful, because and I'm guilty of that as of right now as well, because I see like these girls, who are working with like super big brands, and they are getting whatever amount of clients, and I'm still not. And it's just like, wait a second, like, she started 5 years ago. She already had whatever the email list, the Facebook group with like 5,000 people there. So it's just like, when you are starting, first of all, like, be honest about that with your audience. It's okay to start. Everyone has to start from zero. And second, like, just like, be yourself and provide the best value that you can. And by the way, that's the other thing. When you are going to offer something that you are really passionate about, is because you already have the knowledge of
Mm-hmm.
it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you don't need to fake anything. You don't need to make up things. Just like, it will come easily. And then you will have to follow like a strategy and like a process. But the content inside is just like, it's already done.
So did you answer the question within that answer? Did you answer what you would do tomorrow? What specific business would you launch tomorrow? Would it be business coaching? Would it be, you kind of mentioned earlier that, Instagram's a little saturated. What's
Everything's saturated.
well, that's a great point. Everything's saturated. So you have to differentiate yourself somehow. But so what specifically would you do tomorrow?
I would actually keep doing what I'm doing, because again, it's giving me the lifestyle that I want, the freedom that I want, the fact that I can work whenever I want. And again, I'm saying this, but I also want to like highlight that it wasn't like that at the beginning, that
Right.
it takes
Yeah.
time. So like, if someone wants to start doing this, don't get into the idea that this is going to happen like overnight. That is not true, but you will get there, right? So again, my two passions are like helping people and traveling. So if I combine those two, and then I actually I created like an online business that allows me to help someone, to quit their office jobs and then create something online that they are passionate about. And I have the freedom to be traveling, to choose where I want to live, as long as there is Wi-Fi and so on. Just like right now, I wouldn't choose anything else, just like I got where I wanted to be. So yeah.
I mean, I love the way you kind of wrap that up. This idea. I mean, you're very clear on what your the French would say the raison d'être. Your reason for being or whatever. So how do
Yeah,
you said I want to travel. I want to help people. Those if I can do those two things and somehow craft a business around that, then you've
yeah,
really created kind of this lifestyle business that you really want, and you're able to do those things that you want to do, have the time freedom. You're not locked in a cubicle in some office somewhere making
exactly.
things that you don't care about, anyway. You're just earning a living. So, and you
Yeah.
really just haven't created another job for yourself. You've actually created a business that you
Mm-hmm.
can work in. So, I mean, and that once you've done it, I mean, it's pretty simple to go and teach that, because it really is just a result of what you're the path that you've walked,
Exactly.
this last few years. So, as
Yeah.
we wrapping up today, is there anything that I haven't asked you about that you want to just kind of leave us with, and then maybe tell people where the best place they can find you online?
Um, so if there is like one thing that I want to get out there, it's just like, if you really feel that you are stuck in your office, working on an office, and you really feel that you're meant for something else, and most of my audience, of course, what they want is just like traveling around. But like maybe you are a mom and you have kids and you just want to stay at home and take care of your kids. So whatever you're passionate about, just go for it. Like those blocks that we have in our minds that always stop us to like get to the next level, just break them and just like go for it and do everything that is in your hands to get there. And the second thing that I want to be sure that you understand is just like,
Mhm.
there is no easy way of making money and creating like an online business if you want it to last. Okay.
That's a great
So
point. Yeah.
yeah, no one is going to make like $10,000 in like a week or a month, and if someone is telling you that should be like a red alert. So yeah, just like be patient and enjoy the process of learning and actually becoming the person that you want to be. So if you can actually do that and break again those thought patterns, you will get whatever you want to be.
Now, are you taking new clients now? You taking new coaching clients?
Yeah.
So, folks, you've heard this. I mean, what a great, half hour we've had here just to chat about this. And she's, walked us very systematically through the whole process of her, escaping kind of cubicle jail and really creating a lifestyle business around, her passions, and now she's helping others do the same. So I would encourage you to make sure you check her out online and just to, find out exactly what services she's providing and if they're a good fit for you. And Marta, where would be the best place for people to find you online?
So I would actually say Instagram or Facebook, email as well. My Instagram is at Smiley Digital Nomad. My Facebook, it's funny enough, we were talking about that. It's my name is Marta Mo. But I also have like a Facebook group called Limitless Travelpreneurs, because that's the term that we use for people that are
For
actually
sure. Yeah.
entrepreneurs who are
Yeah.
traveling.
Yeah.
And yeah, if you want to send me an email, it's marta@martamoya.net. But I'm sure we can just provide this in written if you need anything.
Yeah, make sure that you send me those links, and we'll get those, and we'll get all, Instagram, Facebook, and your email links and website in the show notes for the episode when it goes live. And well, Marta, we really appreciate your time today. It's been really good connecting,
Yeah.
we had a little trouble scheduling our initial interview, and like I told you earlier, I appreciate your diligence in rescheduling so we could make sure and get this
Yeah.
interview done. But I just really appreciate your time today, and it's just really been good connecting and just hearing your story, and just thank you for sharing that story and just helping all boats rise in a rising tide. Marta, have a
Thank you,
great day.
Kevin. You too.